Welcome to the Everything is a Primary Source podcast, the show where we construct history through popular culture. I'm your host, Eric Salmonson. I'm a social studies teacher, historian, and pop culture enthusiast. Each episode, I sit down with everyday people to discuss the media, objects, places, and events that shape us and reveal what they say about the past, as well as who we are now. The Everything is a Primary Source podcast is, therefore, your history, my history, our history through popular culture. So I am here at the Roundabout Diner. We're kind of like on the threshold between the Roundabout Diner and McCue's Comedy Club.
Yeah.
Which you are. What is your role with McCue's? Are you,
I'm the host of the night.
Okay.
And I set up the room. I guess that would make me a producer and a comedian.
There it is. You transform it and get it ready for.
Transform is it's a generous word. But yeah, I get it up and I get it rolling, and then I get out of the way when the rest of the comedians come through, and then just try to have a good time until night's over.
Do you like the comedy business?
I love comedy.
Is it
the business? Not. It's never been my most favorite part of it, but it is obviously it's in the name, show business.
Right.
But yeah, I've been doing comedy since I was 19, so I'm like 20 years in because I'm 39. So it's been fun. It's been a weird ride.
I bet. Are you from around here?
I grew up in Nashua.
Okay.
Yeah, so
that's actually where I got a lot of the stuff the other day. It was
okay.
Hudson at the
Goodwill
by the Pound in Hudson.
Yeah, but I grew up in Nashua, went to school in Boston, and then I moved to LA for 14 years before COVID.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And then COVID kind of destroyed that city, and I had an opportunity to go help renovate a farm. So that was actually my COVID experience. I wound up getting, I guess you could say, stuck because I just decided never to go back.
Right.
It was just supposed to be a month of clearing land.
Yeah.
And then that turned into, well, why don't we see how summer 2020 goes in Delaware while everything cools down, and it didn't. So I just kept being there.
Yeah.
And then before long, by September 2020, I was like, I don't think I should pay for my apartment out in LA anymore.
Yeah.
So I closed it down. I moved back to Delaware, and then that had less than ideal endings. We'll just put it that way. And I wound up coming back home in August 21, and I've been here. I wasn't expecting to come back home, but it's been nice to see my childhood through my adult eyes.
Right.
Is really what I've been doing, and so that's been, I guess you could say, cathartic.
Right.
I've really been able to, obviously, because trauma and all that stuff is in, it's every time you turn on any media device right now, they're letting you know, at least in my algorithm, they're letting me know that trauma is part of the world.
Right.
So just being able to sift through my life as nearly a 40-year-old as I drive around Nashua has been very interesting.
Yeah.
And it's been fun.
Minus the going to LA thing, I followed a similar path because I'm from here. I actually grew up just a stone's throw from here. I was on the Air Force Base in the 80s, and then we were told to move because they closed the base down, and we moved around, and I ended up actually not in Delaware but nearby in Maryland.
Okay.
About 15 years ago, and then we made our way back up here because my wife was going to go to school in Boston, and she did, and then we've been here ever since. And so it's been fun, same thing, seeing. Because when you're a kid, you're just kind of packed into the car and you go somewhere and you're including we'd go to Hudson for Benson's.
Yeah.
And we were just there the other day, and I was showing my son around. I'm like, over here used to be the, where this ride was. But it's you didn't know where you were as a kid. You're just throwing the car. and then they let you out somewhere like, oh. And so when I came back, and this is about 10 years ago or 15 years ago now, I was like going places around the seacoast of New Hampshire. I'm like, oh, that's where it is. Like, it's I didn't know that. Like, it's just kind of like, because when you're a kid, you don't pay attention to that kind of thing. Would you say that because if you went to Los Angeles for the comedy career?
Yeah, we could say that. I mean, part of it was just like being 22 and wanting to run away from home.
Like, see what LA's all about.
Yeah, and basically I had 4 friends in college that we all were like, I can live out there if you can lean on me, I'll lean on you. Like we can make this happen. Let's get the fuck out of here.
Right.
And sorry, I didn't mean to swear. And yeah, so then that was very cool to witness. Like, one guy left in a year to come back to marry his wife and have a kid with her, and then the other one made it like 7 or 8 years out there before he moved to Denver, and then another one made it like 10 years before he moved to Hawaii.
Oh, kept going.
And then I was there. I was like last man standing out of the 4 of us, and still close with all those guys too. Right. So it's been interesting to watch how we've spidered out.
Kind of reminds me of, I'm sure you've seen the movie Swingers.
Oh yeah,
which is like the weirdest name for a movie that's not about that at all.
But I know.
It's like because they swing dance in it. It's the closest they get to it. I love that movie. It's like, to me, it's kind of like the equivalent to a chick flick, but for dudes, because it's like relationship humor from a dude's perspective, and like the nice guy's perspective. Because like Jon Favreau's character is like, he's an aspiring comedian. He hosts open mic nights and just does his thing, but he's like lovelorn, and he's in LA because that's where you got to go to get a career started. So in your time in comedy, I'm imagining you've seen quite a bit of changes of how you crack into the business, I'm sure. Like, because 20 years ago there wasn't really, like, the internet existed, but it wasn't really the stage to do your comedy on like it is now.
I mean, now it's like, if you can not just stomach social media, but if you can actually be good at it,
right?
It doesn't even matter if you have jokes. You can fill a room up,
right?
And because the rules of comedy are: 1, fill seats; 2, make people laugh,
right?
Or actually 2, sell drinks; 3, make people laugh. Like that's and it's in that order,
right?
When whoever you're dealing with, when you're dealing with like a manager, or mostly of clubs and restaurants and bars and whatnot, so, but now it's like, I mean, one of the reasons I don't go back to LA is because I know that the world is kind of flat right now, and it's all like, you can, no matter where you are, you can make yourself, like, you can make a career for yourself.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, realistically, my generation of comedians, like 40 and below, we've gotten like, we've all entered the Tony Robbins, like, view of the world. Like, you got to make a brand, you got to make a business, and then once you got a business, then you got like, you got numbers you can look at, and you can start like refining it, and that's what a lot of guys and gals are really good at. And there's not, however people want to make $1, I don't blame them.
Yeah, that's kind of where I am too. I'm on that. I've been doing the public school teaching thing for 16 years now, and that's very rigid. It's like there's a screeching bell to tell you when to be at work. And when you to do this, do that, and I'm like, I've been doing the podcast thing for about a year and a half now, and this particular version of it for about a year, and I'm like, this is super enjoyable because it can go anywhere, and it's like, and if I could find a way. But it's funny that you pointed out about the sticker here referencing the Mighty Ducks, because a lot of those same kinds of themes are present in those movies. Especially the first one, and then I know you said you haven't seen it, but they like everything else out there, they rebooted Mighty Ducks a couple of years ago with Game Changers, a series, and I watched that kind of skeptical because I'm like, I love the cheese factory that is the first 2-3 Mighty Ducks movies, but the newer ones, I won't give it away, but it has a really cool ending because it's about like I'm not giving anything to say, but by the time that the series starts, the Mighty Ducks are no longer the underdogs. They are the elite. Yeah, they're basically the Hawks from the original
they're the
movie.
Yankees now.
Right, and you don't touch them, and it's an honor to be on the Ducks, and they have this coach that is all about selling the brand to the wealthiest families in Minneapolis.
Success,
exactly.
success.
And then one of the kids that tries out for the team, and I always that movie, the original Mighty Ducks, always cracked me up how big Little League hockey must have been, because you have the guy who plays the coach of the Hawks, Lane Smith, who's fantastic. I love him in My Cousin Vinny. I love him in the Superman, Lois and Clark. He played Perry White, and he's like, it's not worth winning unless you win big, and hitting the kids over the head, and then he goes to Gordon Bombay, who's a successful lawyer, and he's like, you're not even a has-been. You never was. And I'm like, the guy could turn to him and be, look, I've built up a really good, I drive a really nice car. I'm not a, failure just because I'm not good at coaching hockey.
But what happens is there's so many relationships we have in our life that you automatically revert to a younger hierarchy. So kind of you'll never be on the same pedestal as your mother. You'll always be able, unless you're a psychopath,
right?
You'll always have at least a little bit of kid glove in you,
right?
To soften out and not be too brutal with how you. But if your business partner does that same thing that your mother might have done, whatever it might be, let's say spoke cross at an inappropriate time. Look at me saying speak cross. But, with a business partner, you can be like, what the hell is your problem? Get it together. And because that's one of the things that I've been realizing as I drive around, and you run into your past,
right?
Whatever it might be. I ran into a guy that in high school we were kind of dickish to each other, but then I see him and I'm delivering him a pizza, and I'm just kind of like, hey man, who are you now?
Right.
What's going and any animosity we probably had. Luckily for him and I, we both kind of knew in that moment, we've both were just in a whirlwind of life. And oh, hey, you made it back.
We run into each other again.
The
two hurricanes colliding.
He's got a daughter now. It's oh, cool. I'm sure that's what you spend most of your life on.
Right.
I bet that's really fulfilling.
My wife said she read something recently and she shared it with me, and there's a lot of truth to it. She's like, if you don't cringe thinking about things from your youth or any time in the past, then you haven't grown at all. It means, because if you're looking back on stupid stuff, you're I'm still proud of that. That's a problem.
That's
not
true.
Everything in your life, but there's moments that it happens to me all the time. I'll be driving along and something will enter my head, and it's usually based on something I see. It brings in a memory. And I'm I'll actually out loud just what was I thinking? And it means that you've evolved in some way. That you're not keeping those kinds of mindset going, that you're growing and you're becoming a better person. And so the sticker that caught your eye says, what would Coach Bombay do? Kind of what would Jesus do kind of thing. And what is, in your opinion, how does that character of Gordon Bombay, because the storyline is that he wanted nothing more than to be a professional hockey player, and then his dreams were dashed and all that kind of stuff, and then the kids encourage him at the end to go try out for minor league hockey. How do you think that character functions? Because the movie Mighty Ducks is basically Bad News Bears, but for hockey. They made so many of those underdog story kind of things, but not too many of those have the coach as being able to go back and kind of retry his career aspirations. Usually they're just kind of
he wound up becoming a pro by the I think by the beginning of the second one.
and he gets hurt.
Yeah. Same thing happened. Bum knee.
Yeah.
I mean, that's really what I think. I think about the bum knee because I got bum knees. And I also think, like, in some ways, because for me, like, people are like Coach Bombay. That's like it's a good, it's synonymous with good,
right,
in our culture.
Want to bring history to life in your classroom? With everything as a primary source to go, you can borrow real historical artifacts from the last 200 years, shipped right to your school. It's hands-on history, paired with ready-to-use lesson plans and classroom activities that make the past come to life for you and your students. Whether you're teaching the Industrial Revolution all the way up through the Communication Revolution, there's something in our collection for every era. Visit everything-history.com/EPS to go and start transforming your teaching today. That's everything-history.com/EPS to go, because history belongs in your hands.
And then so coach becomes synonymous with good in our culture, and I had like some brutal coaches. So for me, it's this weird, like, coach to me has a bad connotation because of some of the guys I dealt with. And so for me, there's like a wanting, and I can almost, like, there is one coach, I'll give him credit. He was my high school football coach. This guy, Coach Johnson, he was the head coach. He actually went on to like a tear. Went on like an undefeated streak for years or whatever, like 10 years after I was gone.
So he knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, but because one of the things is he had like what did you say his name was? Lane Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah. We had I'll never forget this. We would get a program, like a summer program, and it's like, I would have some plays in there,
like a whole binder that you actually kind of study,
or even like the first day binder, and it was just a packet of paper, like maybe 50 pages of stuff. But there were a lot of like inspirational quotes, and one of his quotes for us was, "No excuses, just success," and that's something that's like just rings in my in my head to this day, and. Even though it's like it's very reductive, like, and it doesn't really. I know that there are people out there that they live by that type of a mantra, but again, I'd go back to some people are sociopaths and psychopaths, and like they put all of their self-worth into stuff that's like outside themselves, or stuff that like how they present, and that's like. So that's where that brings me to.
I know what you mean, because like I played sports in high school and stuff, and I did coach actually myself for a while too. And there seems to be coaches that kind of take on this. Either they intend for it to happen or not, but a lot of their kids kind of see them almost like fatherly figures.
Yeah, oh yeah.
And a lot of times because they're missing either an actual fatherly figure, or their own father is not who they want to look up to. And
or your father says, "Listen to this man, like you're listening to me."
Yeah, and like he knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
And it's funny because I didn't really have that kind of relationship with my like I was never looking for that kind of stuff. So like when the coaches would give us like that, and I didn't have that many coaches that had those kind of philosophies on life kind of thing. Like most of them were just like the gym coach said. But like when I saw that kind of thing happening, it would never really like said anything to me, because I'm like, I'm not looking for that. Like I would oftentimes just kind of leave. I'm like, well, sports are fun, but I'm not gonna live it, But for other kids, like that was like they had to have somebody like that in their life. They had to have, and in the movie Mighty Ducks, and it's it's kind of fun giving a movie that's so silly and ridiculous a real treatment to it. But he starts out as like very much, I don't want to do it. He was actually sentenced by the court to do it. Like he does not want to do it. And I love that line in the beginning of the movie where his driver 'cause he has a DWI, so he can't drive. And he's like, so what are we going for? He's like, just look for the sign that says own personal hell. And, like, for a Disney movie, that's pretty dark, And then he's like, I hate kids and I hate hockey, and he's just miserable the whole time. Yeah. And it's like, he doesn't go in like, I'm going to shape these kids up. Like, he actually wants to be like bad coach. Like, he doesn't care. And then he has like a moment where he transforms, and then he becomes. Because, like, you played hockey, right? You said, what are hockey coaches usually like? Are they... the ones as spectators, we tend to just see them, like, dressed in suits standing in the back of the box, but...
Okay, so I didn't have any coaches like that. The closest I would have is I was on... There was the USA Hockey program, which was basically like Pop Warner. Pretty much everyone can... If you show up, you pay your dues. Right. We'll get you ice time. Right. That type of stuff. And then I also played in what was called the Metro League, which is more like, I guess you would call it like travel hockey, where you're going to travel all over for us, it was like traveling all over. We'd go to like Springfield to Providence to like all of the counties in Massachusetts. Because it was the Metro Boston.
I was going to say, Nashua is more like Massachusetts North than it is part of New Hampshire. It's more of like a Mass feel to it.
Yeah, my mom worked at like Tufts Medical Center my entire life.
Yeah, so it's like
making that commute every day. So Boston's always been Metro, or Nashua's always been Metro Boston.
Yeah,
and that one was more like. Everyone took it a little bit more seriously, but even the coaches, because we were still kids. It was before high school, and by the time high school came, I was on the freshman JV hockey team, and I went up to Berlin to be sat the entire game, and I was given one shift at the end of the game, where I was so upset that they made me play. I felt I was a winger. They made me play defense, which I didn't like because I don't like being able to skate backwards. So I was just like, out of spite, I took the puck from behind the net, and I just went as far as I could before it got poked away from me in their zone. And then I got pulled off, and they got yelled at. And when I got back to school, basically we had a rule in our house: you're not allowed to quit things. And my dad wound up coming to me because my dad and my offensive line coach were like buddies. They were all up in themselves about what I could be because I'm a giant person. Yeah. And that's when my dad came to me and said, "Go ahead and quit. You can go ahead and quit hockey. Let's just focus on football." And I was like, "Okay." Didn't really want to do. I didn't want to leave the game. So like my experience with hockey coaches are like mostly just kid coaches. Yeah. I do know, like, I grew up on one of the teams of Bruce Crowder's kid. And Bruce Crowder, like, he would come down on the ice, and for those who don't know, Bruce Crowder, he played for the Bruins, the Penguins. He was on the UNH national championship team, and then he was head coach at UMass Lowell and Northeastern University. So I knew him when he was at UMass Lowell, and he was always like, he just had a lot of like really good insight. And then when I went to Northeastern, I was living with a bunch of kids on the hockey team, and I remember some of the guys were like, he doesn't like get us rah-rah. So again, it's like everything. There's some coaches are, they can light a fire under that, and then other coaches are like, hey, why don't you have a fire under? Like, get it together. Like we got a job to do. So, and then even when I went to because I got recruited at Northeastern for football under Don Brown, who is last time I checked, I haven't watched football in a long time. I believe he's at University of Michigan as the defensive coordinator now. Oh wow! But his thing was like everything is a business, like it's a business meeting. That's when I didn't, that's when I realized that there's a big difference between coaches who like they love the game, they love hanging out, love being mentors to kids, they love, and then there's guys that want to win, and like that, and that's the way they feed their family is they got to win, So that's like a completely different like mindset that you're going to bring, while also rolling in all of the raw stuff of the kids coach. That all gets molded into this like onslaught you can feel like you're getting sometimes.
It's funny because I guess what we're essentially talking about is kind of the evolution of the coach and different levels. Like it, and going back, I don't know, 100 years to the 1920s. Still blows my mind that that's 100 years ago.
Yeah, I know, right?
When we were talking about The Great Gatsby before, I'm like, that book's like not that old, but I'm like, oh, it's like 100 years old now.
Yeah.
But you go
it's
back.
It's amazing it's still around.
Right. And they keep making movies out of it, so that's why. And it's a pretty good book. But, going back in time to that time period, like, the idea of, like, youth sports, it wasn't as prevalent as it became as the 20th century went on. And so there wasn't that many wide, diverse kinds of coaches because there wasn't that many coaches.
Yeah.
And so it's like as time has gone on, each time period seems to feed a new kind of coach into, and then not only that, but even the sports that kids are able to play. Yeah. Has broadened quite a bit.
Oh, well, I mean, a lot of it even. So, like, it's funny you say that about, like, kids' sports. So this is a story that my dad used to tell when he played Pop Warner football. So this would have been when he was, like, in 8th grade. I think he played from, like, 8th to 12th grade. Mm-hmm. But it was, like, it wasn't Pop Warner. It was like a club team.
Yeah.
And he had a coach that if you missed a block, he would call you out of the game, ask you to take your helmet off, and then punch you in the forehead.
Oh, jeez.
Put your helmet back on, you go back in the game. That was one of the only stories he ever told. That and then it would be like, they used to have a trough of water with one ladle, and everyone would just ladle out of like a big trough of water.
It's like the Bear Bryant.
Yeah.
Remember that movie that they made about that? The ESPN. It was like ESPN's first movie.
I do remember that with Tom Berenger.
And it was funny because they show he's like depriving them of water and like making them do push-ups in 110.
I had coaches like that.
And then it's like, and then at the end of the movie, they're like, Alabama did not win the I'm like, oh, so that was for nothing apparently.
Oh yeah.
Do you ever watch King of the Hill?
Absolutely.
There's that great episode. My favorite episodes, in fact, is when Bobby is playing for the Pee Wee team football, and the coach quits because he's sick of the parents getting on his case. And meanwhile, there's a soccer team nearby called The Wind, and Will Ferrell does the voice of the coach. He's like, oh, it's excellent physical conditioning. And meanwhile, like Hank's like, well, we're going to watch a sport that's actually, we kick the ball. Oh, anybody can kick it under the goalpost. We kick it over. And they recruit his high school coach, who's working at like a Foot Locker, to come and he's like a psychopath. Like he's like driving the car around the field and chasing the kids. And like Hank, for him, he's like, back in the 70s, this is the coach that I wanted. Mm-hmm. And he met that need in the 70s. But things have changed so much in that time because all the kids just keep leaving the football team because of that guy to go play soccer, or football. And like it's a good commentary and just kind of where, like, and I think about it at the pro level too, like when Joe Gibbs, he coached the Redskins throughout the, to several Super Bowls in the 80s and 90s. He left the game and then came back in the early 2000s and was like totally lost. Like he was not a good coach anymore because he was playing, the game had changed so much in that time. Yeah. That,
Well, like I had one coach that was like abusive to me specifically, not physically, and with the signing off of my father and all that. But what was interesting was he tried getting another job as a coach, and after a year quickly washed out. And because he was saying that they would look back at what we did to you guys and call it abuse now, which was funny to me because he said this to my face, and I'm like, well, what the because I don't want to get into it, let's keep it light. But he was a bad coach, and it was funny to me that he was dumbfounded. Yeah. That, I don't know. Apparently they don't like it when you threaten to hit a kid. It's like, because it's like,
believe it or not, like,
yeah, because it's like terrifying when authority figures do that to you. Like,
they're supposed to be safe.
Everywhere you look, we talk about tyranny. This is what we talk about when authority goes out of control, like, and you don't know how to handle it. It's like, so most of the time when you're a kid, you freeze because you're like, if I don't move, maybe it won't see me. You got a Jurassic Park thing up here?
I think I do. I probably should.
His vision's based on movement.
Right. It's kind of like, when you it's like those kinds of coaches are obviously something happened in their life.
Oh yeah.
That they're bringing with them, and it's like, the opposite of leave it on the field. It's like leave it at home. Like don't bring it on the field.
Yeah, that takes like, that took me like up until this year to like really figure out. It's like, okay, it's something horrific happened in his life.
Yeah.
And he didn't know how to stop paying that forward. So, okay. And I've been able to like calm myself with that, because for a long time you're like, why did that happen?
Right.
And then eventually you like, if you actually like try to, if you seek, you shall find.
Right.
You'll find some answers, and you're like, oh, well. And sometimes they're so plainly obvious that you kind of beat yourself up because like you didn't see them earlier.
Yeah.
At least that's what I do.
Yeah.
But I'm in comedy, so that tends to be how we do things.
Well, I was going to say that I think there's a direct linkage. What you're speaking to right here is like, it's very scientific. It's psychological. It's like you're evaluating things, kind of like through the lens of somebody who's, actually taking it all in and analyzing it, instead of just, taking life as it comes and, well, that's the past is past. Like, who cares about that? It's like,
well, it's mostly because I've been driving around Nashville being like, I'm going to run into him. It's going to happen. Yeah. And he's going to think that we're buddies. And I got to like break. Yeah. I got to break it to this full grown man.
We
ain't friends, and I can do stuff now to get you away from me. So please, let's just be respectful and move on.
I heard somebody say one time, New England's not that big.
Yeah, it's not.
So if New England's not that big, then New Hampshire's not that big.
No.
The odds of, running into somebody that you don't want to run into. But I'm glad I ran into you today.
Yeah, you're cool, Eric. I like this.
And I usually use this as a way to record my short episodes, but this is like full-length episode, which cool. I think we'll use it that way. So
awesome.
Popular culture, by definition, connects and unites us, and proves that people of different backgrounds, in fact, have a lot in common with one another. I hope you enjoyed this conversation, at least in part, for that reason. If it connects with you and you'd like to add to it, or any of the podcast episodes, just visit everything-history.com and search for the Everything as a Primary Source project, which can be found in the classroom section of the website. We'd love to hear what you have to say. Be sure to rate and share this podcast wherever you are listening to it now, and follow Everything as a Primary Source on social media, including YouTube and especially Instagram. Thank you for listening to the EPS podcast, where everything is a primary source.